Hey everybody, it's Andrew Martin, the Spiritual Rebel, coming to you with a new video. How are you? I hope that wherever you are, that you're happy and that you're healthy and that you're smiling. It's a beautiful, cooler day here in Seattle. The sun is shining, but it's not as hot, which I'm totally happy about. I'm looking at myself in the screen here, and I'm seeing that I'm starting to look like Robin Williams in Jumanji. In that scene where he comes out of the game after being trapped in the jungle for 30 years. I don't think I'm a big beard guy. I think it's time to trim this down. It's starting to look a little nasty. I thought I could do it, but I don't think it's me. So a little bit shorter, maybe somewhere between George Michael Faith and Robin Williams in Jumanji, or Tom Hanks in Castaway. Maybe that's where my ideal beard length is. So probably the next time you see me, this will be much shorter. Anyway, I have a message for you today. I was just sitting in meditation and I was thinking of, I wanted to record a video earlier today, and I tried, but I couldn't really come up with a clear idea. And then I was just meditating, and the thought that came to me and the lesson I want to share with you, or the message I want to share with you today, is choosing ourselves over fear. And what does that mean? Choosing ourselves over fear. Choosing ourselves over the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of success, the fear of happiness, the fear of growth, the fear of change, the fear of vulnerability, the fear of honesty, the fear of looking like a fool, the fear of not being able to manage it or handle it in a way that we think we should be able to, the fear of asking for help, the fear of moving in a new direction, the fear of unknown, the fear of taking a leap of faith. There are all kinds of fears. The fear of speaking up for ourselves. There are all kinds of fears in our lives that are valid. I'm certainly not saying that fear is not a valid experience. But the choice that we have when we're faced with a fear is to continue to hold back, to continue to deny ourselves, continue to stay in the safe, small place of not chasing after our dreams and not taking a risk and not going for what we want. Fear is the mind's way of trying to protect us. And I've said this before, the mind only creates from what it knows. The mind is an archive. And when there's something that the mind hasn't experienced before, it has no frame of reference. It has no thing to say, oh, well, we did this last time and this is what happened. So especially when it's new, and especially when it's unknown, and especially when it's unseen and there is no guarantee, the mind freaks out and tries to keep us afraid because it thinks that it will keep us safe. By keeping us afraid, it keeps us in place, and that's what it equates with safety, is what it knows. But choosing fear means that we're denying ourselves something. Choosing to stay small and to say, well, I'll do it tomorrow, well, I'll do it next year, or I can't do that, I'm incapable, I'm unworthy, I don't deserve it, it's not possible. All of these reasons that we come up with as to why we can't choose to take a chance on ourselves, choose to bet on ourselves, choose to step forward and say, even if our voice is shaking, and even if we're not sure we have the strength to say it, even if our eyes are filled with tears and we're panicked and in a flop sweat, but choosing to stand up and say what we need to say anyway. Choosing to put our own happiness first and say, you know what, this may not be the convenient choice, this may not be the easy choice. This may not be my favorite choice. This may not even be a choice that I really want to take, but when it's the alternative to fear, or the alternative to denying ourselves, or the alternative to not speaking out. I had a woman that I gave a reading to the other day, and she came in and, she sat down and I said, hey, how are you? What can I do? She just immediately started crying. And she was in a really tough spot in her life. And she was at a place where, her MO in the past had been to just run. When things got too heavy, or when things got too overwhelming, or when things started to feel like the stakes were too high, she would just bolt from her life. Quit her job, move to a new city, leave her responsibilities behind, whatever. And she came to me because she realized she couldn't do that anymore, and she was terrified. She was at a point in her life where she was being faced with the choice of either running again or finally standing up and speaking up for herself in her relationships, her job, professional, personal, love, friendships, all of that. Basically, her whole life, she had not ever known how to stand up for herself and how to speak for herself and how to be her own advocate. And that was terrifying to her. The thought of just standing up and speaking her truth and asking for what she wanted and drawing some lines in the sand and establishing boundaries was terrifying to her. But she knew it had to be done. And the thing is that when we continue to run from our problems, when we continue to run from the truth of who we are, life only continues to raise the stakes on the issues that we were refusing to deal with until the stakes are high enough to get us to the point where we finally stop running and we turn and we face them. And it's not out of a sense of punishment. It's not out of a sense of, life is out to get you. It just says that life says you don't have to deal with this now, but you do have to deal with it. And if you're at a level 3, when this, this issue pops up and the crisis level's at about a 3, most of us are going to say, well, I can just put it off till tomorrow. I don't really need to do it. I'll just kick the can down the road. And so we run from the problem, and life, according to our free will and the respect of that, life says, all right, cool, fine, run. The issue comes back around. And the message that we sent the last time was level 3 isn't really enough for me to want to deal with this. So then it gets ratcheted up to level 5, and the pressure and the intensity of the circumstances surrounding the lesson are going to continue to grow until we finally choose ourselves. Because in choosing to deal with our issues, in choosing to listen to ourselves, to trust ourselves, to believe that the things that are coming up for us are for our growth and our benefit and our expansion, both as a human and as a soul, they're coming to us for a reason. It's because it's part of the work that we agreed to do. And if level 3 or level 5 or level 7 isn't intense enough for us to finally go, wait a minute, I deserve to stop running. I deserve to stop and to stand and to face my life and to embrace it and accept it unconditionally, because when I accept it, then I can move on. Then I can begin to create change. Then I can begin to move through the things that I perceive as a barrier or a burden. And so for this woman to stand up for herself and speak up for herself and to be her own advocate was terrifying for her. Because not only had she never been taught how to do it, she had never really had to. She had been able to get away with not dealing with it. But choosing to speak up for ourselves and to say, this is what I need to be happy. These are the things that I need to accept about the life that I have had a hand in creating, so that I can decide what I want to change. It's about allowing ourselves to take an honest inventory and say, yes, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm nervous. No, I don't know how it's going to work out. No, I don't know how I'm going to even do it. No, I don't know where the resources and the support are necessarily going to come from. And no, I don't even know what the plan is. All I know is that there are things that I need to do and say yes to and to finally embrace and to turn into face in order for me to continue down my path in a way that feels healthy and positive and expansive. Because it's like Groundhog Day. I mean, it becomes like Groundhog Day. When there are issues, core issues for us that we refuse to consistently deal with, or we consistently refuse to deal with, they only continue to come back around. We can never escape our problems. They're just going to follow us and they're going to keep popping up. Same problem, different cast of characters, same story, different, the package may look different, but the essence, the core of it is going to be the same. And I guarantee you, if it's something that's consistently showing up, it becomes like a chronic pattern in our lives and we consistently refuse to deal with it. The only way it's ever going to get our attention is when the stakes become high enough that we decide to go, okay, I can't really ignore this anymore. I'm dealing with this in my own life right now in so many ways, mostly with, relationships and money. Finding myself having to make some really tough decisions and looking at my financial situation in a way that it's like, oh my God, okay, what I owe and what I make is really out of whack right now. And that means I need to change my living situation. I need to really seriously look at, the debt that I owe and the income that I have, and how do I fix that problem? How do I address that situation? And I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. I wish I could continue to run from it. But the things that I want, the success that I know is coming for me and the relationship that I know is coming for me, both require me to do some work right now before they can fully manifest in my life. And I'm starting to get little pings on it. The success that I've been working so hard for the past 2 years is finally starting to show up. And in order for me to have the foundation built for my success that's coming to be successful and sustainable and stable, I've got to do some work on clearing the space for it. And that means looking at my financial situation really, 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 really clearly and honestly. The same thing is with relationships. Learning how to speak up for myself without apologizing, without qualifying, without quantifying, without explaining it away and trying to soften my requests to make the other person feel what I perceive as less uncomfortable. Apologizing for what I need, and to get to the point where I say, look, the relationship that I want is based upon an honest, dynamic, passionate, compassionate, mutually agreed upon kind of idea. And that is that the person that is coming to me and the person that I am showing up as is the best version of myself that I can be. And that requires me to take some really hard looks at some things in my life that I believe about myself and to make some decisions that push me into a really, really uncomfortable spot in my life. I'm not going to lie. The past couple of days have been really uncomfortable for me because the things that I know I am moving in the direction of are really, really exciting. And also the things that I am required to take responsibility for are things that I've been putting off for 43 years. But it's choosing myself over fear. It is choosing myself again and again and again. It is choosing to say yes to what I know that I want, what I know that I desire, what I know I can have. It's not a question of can I have it anymore. I've gotten to the point of knowing that I can have what I want. Now the question becomes is how much do I want it? How worthy do I believe that I am for it? Do I believe I can handle and manage it? Do I believe I'm capable of it? But choosing myself over fear is a choice that I have to make in every single moment. Because the choice to go back to the safe, easy, comfortable, familiar way is always there. I could quit this tomorrow. I could take down the website, stop all my clients, take down this Facebook and this YouTube channel, and go look for an office job. But that's not choosing myself. That's choosing fear. That's choosing the idea that I can't do it, and that it can't be done, and that it's not possible, and that it's not sustainable, and that it's not manageable. And that's bullshit. So I invite you today, where do you have the opportunity to choose yourself over fear? As always, I thank you for watching. Go to my Facebook page. I'm super excited that I have this Accessing Spiritual Guidance class. I'm doing a teleclass version of this. So sign up. There's an event on my Facebook. It's a 2-part class. It's only $40. It's going to be amazing. It's the exact same class I just did in LA, but this is going to be done remotely over a teleconference because I know there's a lot of people who can't come to Seattle or weren't able to make it to LA. So sign up for that. Go to my website. Check me out. I'd love to work with you. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you're well and I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Bye-bye.